2-1 advantage on Minnesota. 30 kills in the match for Stacey Gordon.
Great net play. Once again, Maya Mapp continues to be an incredible athlete tonight. Just coming up big when they need her. Senior leader, important right now.
Ohio State is 1 game away from a trip to Long Beach in the NCAA semifinals. Minnesota trying to come back in game 4.
Drive, throw stuff, switch. For a limited time, get Mario Kart Double Dash free when you buy a Nintendo GameCube for $99.99. Rated
academic excellence by teaching discipline and perseverance through athletic competition, and by fostering camaraderie and pride in traditions that will sustain our institutions for generations to come. As we ready our student athletes for real-life experiences as leaders and team players on the fields of tomorrow, we take this pause to celebrate them all, as one by one they prepare for the world, each with their own vision, dignity, and integrity, and the pride of being part of a great tradition, the Southland Conference.
Greg Amsinger here in New York with some breaking news. According to published reports, New England Patriots offensive coordinator Charlie Weis will become the new head football coach in Notre Dame. Sources close to the university are confirming that Weis has agreed on a 6-year contract worth $12 million. Also in college football, USC quarterback Matt Leinart is the winner of the 2004 Heisman Trophy. Let's go back to Minneapolis.
I guess that I'm out of the running then for the Notre Dame head coaching job, Heather. My name was thrown in there.
Yours was the only name that wasn't in there at some point during
I never confirmed nor denied that I was in there for the NCAA or the Notre Dame head football coaching job, but I didn't get it.
It's gone. That's the good news.
Oh, good luck. Carter Blackburn with Heather Cox here from Minneapolis for the championship match of the Minneapolis Regional Final. Ohio State 1 game away from the semifinals in Long Beach.
And they've done it behind balance, finally. They've had Stacey Gordon the entire match, but Maya Mapp, the other senior, has stepped up to play 15 kills. Maya Mapp hitting .520, just a career night, helping her team to 64 kills. Service errors continue to plague both teams, but Ohio State stepped up in that 3rd game, and blocking again a factor.
Paula Jinshu trying to make herself a factor in game 4. Back at the service line, the junior from Brazil. 3-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Probably the best libero anywhere in college volleyball. And since she's the first group of liberos, call her the best ever to play the position. Matt saves that one, keeps it alive. And McCarthy finishes it off, but credit Maya Mapp for keeping that ball alive. She somehow went outside the antenna and kept it alive for McCarthy.
And for the 4th time, the NCAA is using that libero position. It's a back row specialist. You'll notice she's wearing a different colored jersey. It means that she can sub in and out at any time. Doesn't count as one of the 12 substitutions each game. For the first time this year, is allowed to serve.
Mike Hebert loves that rule because Jinshu's a heck of a server.
What's interesting about Jinshu as a serving libero is she's got a very bad right shoulder. In fact, I've been watching her as this match has progressed. She's rubbing it a lot more. It seems to be bothering her. During the middle of the season, it hurt her so much that she was actually serving left-handed. But she was so effective left-handed that coach didn't sub her out. I mean, he could bring somebody in to serve, but why bother when she's better than most as a lefty?
838 digs this season. That is an NCAA record. That was coming into this match. And when Jinshu is digging balls, it just sets up the rest of the Minnesota offense. And you say, well, how can a defensive player, a libero, set up the offense so well? But correct me if I'm wrong, but passing is such a key part of the way the offense works.
Oh, without it, I mean, first contact rules, and that is the difference between having a high hitting percentage and not. The conversion between defense to offense is critical for success in volleyball. And you know, Carter, I truly believe that the reason that Mike Hebert and this Minnesota squad is where it's been the last 2 years, which is national semifinalist a year ago, could be this year, is because of Paula Jinshu. He had the foresight to know that the NCAA was going to instigate the rule, so he recruited ahead of time, and actually recruited a player for that specialized position, whereas other coaches just turned an outside hitter that maybe wasn't tall enough, maybe wasn't strong enough at the net. They turn outside hitters into liberos, and that wasn't their calling. They weren't naturally gifted defensive ball control players like Paula Genshu.
Well, we've heard from Kathy Gregory throughout the day at the field house, and talking to her at UC Santa Barbara earlier this year, she said the libero is going to become the most important position in college volleyball, and Mike Hebert was ahead of everybody in the country in getting Paula Genshu.
And Chrissy Zartman at UCLA is that type of player as well, but she's younger, so Andy Banikowski knew when he recruited her that she would fill that position, but Mike Hebert looking ahead to the future of volleyball.
The rule wasn't even instituted when they recruited Paula Genshu and committed the position to her. It was later during that offseason that the libero rule was officially approved for NCAA play.
Right, international volleyball had been using it, men's volleyball had been using it, so the guess was it was going to migrate to the women's game.
Out of the back row, Gordon looking like a libero with a pancake. But the point goes to Minnesota, and Gordon yelling at her teammates to step up the defensive effort.
Now watch, not only does Paula Genshu dig this ball, but digs it to perfection right up to her setter, so her setter can deliver a hittable ball. I mean, Genshu for MVP right now.
She's coming back next year. She will be a senior, and the National Player of the Year has been a lot like the Heisman Trophy. It goes to the best offensive player. But don't be surprised if Paula Genshu makes a run at National Player of the Year next season in 05. Coleman to Bradford. Golden Gophers up 8-5 in Game 4.
Whatever Minnesota finds balance, it finds success. 4 players in double-digit kills for the Golden Gophers. That's what Mike Hebert needs. Keep Ohio State's block guessing, because as Ohio State's block go, they go so far tonight.
Dr. Mike Hebert in Minnesota playing for their NCAA lives.
This presentation of NCAA Volleyball on CSTV is brought to you by Tachikara. We got the ball, you bring the game.
I'm never really away from the game. If I'm not playing it, I'm practicing it. If I'm not practicing it, I'm thinking it. And if I'm not thinking it, I must be sleeping. And then I'm dreaming it. Sacrifice is what got me to this level. But there are some things you just can't sacrifice. Never compromise. Tachikara Volleyball.
Obsessed with college football? So are we. Next Saturday at 1, the NAIA Championship on College Sports TV. Every day is Saturday.
In the championship match of the Minneapolis Regional, it's 5-seed Ohio State with a 2-1 advantage on the 4-seed Minnesota. Carter Blackburn with Heather Cox and our entire CSTV crew. And coming up next, we send you to Seattle. Washington and UCLA meet again with a berth in the NCAA Championships in Long Beach on the line. That is coming up next, and we will keep you posted on Washington and UCLA because they're just about ready to get started out in Seattle.
Like in this region, 2 Big Ten foes facing. In that region, 2 Pac-10 teams facing. And UCLA returns 5 starters, but they were hurt early on. They had a number 3 preseason ranking, but hurt early by injuries. Now they're finally healthy, and I think Andy Banikowski's team finally playing the type of volleyball they thought they'd play all season.
We talked about the Big Ten and Pac-10 strong showings. Disappointing for the Big 12. Nebraska is out in around the Elite 8. And Texas swept by Stanford in that regional semi. Wow. Jesse Jones, the freshman from Naperville, Illinois, finally gets a solution for Stacey Gordon.
And that's exactly why she was put into this game, to match up on Gordon out of the back row. Jones watches the shoulder, not the ball. That's the key to being a good blocker, and when you're blocking somebody out of the back row, you've got to wait.
Jones 6'3", and she is long. Now Stacey Gordon knows all about Jesse Jones. 9-6 Minnesota. The Golden Gophers have to win this game to keep their season alive, trying to get to the NCAA semifinals for the second consecutive year. Jinshu there to dig it out. Aaron Martin, but it is off the antenna. Point Ohio State. Martin knew it.
Wow, Minnesota's serve-receive with its two best ball handlers. Take a look, they're just sharing the court. They're the only two that'll pass the entire court.
Missed passes there for Ohio State, giving Minnesota the 3-point advantage. 14 kills for Aaron Martin for Minnesota.
And Minnesota switched its strategy, now serving Stacey Gordon. Try to wear her out after the night she had last night.
Martin bidding for a 15 kill, but it's tipped at the net. McCarthy tries the dunk. Pinata runs it down. Castine setting to the net. McCarthy gets it, but dug out by Minnesota. On the overpass, free ball for the Golden Gophers. Nelson swings outside into the double block, but she fights through it.
And Carter, I love Minnesota's strategy right now. Early in the match, they were starving Stacey Gordon, not allowing her to touch the ball and get into any rhythm whatsoever. Now they're giving her every single ball, trying to wear her down, trying to make her win the match by herself for Ohio State.
Serve Gordon again there. It was touched, and that's point Minnesota.
And once again, Gordon passing the middle of the court. They will continue to go to her. Just pressure, pressure, pressure. Make her start thinking about it too much.
Jinshu with a hard serve. Stevens. Tools the block, point Ohio State. It up for Nelson. No net violation, so the up official. Down the line, and that is in.
Beautiful swing down the line by Aaron Martin. That is one of the toughest swings. Very low percentage, high risk. Watch the small window that she has to hit through. Just cranks it over her body. Very deceptive swing.
McCarthy gets the kill in the middle. Both offenses starting to heat up in game 4.
And McCarthy has been very quiet. She is somebody that Ohio State needs to establish.
The back set for Bowman. Right into the Golden Gopher crowd. We haven't talked much about Kelly Bowman, but she has had an outstanding sophomore season. First team All-Big Ten, ABCA All-Region selection. Last night in the semis had her NCAA leading 8 triple-double. 43 assists, 10 kills, and 16 digs.
And if Minnesota comes away and wins this match, I think it's because of the right side play. That position between Kelly Bowman and Lindsay Tages has been invaluable. Another offensive weapon at all times, and also quarterbacking and running this team, and they've been great leaders. The two of them sort of a two-headed monster at that right side position.
Kelly Bowman, a sophomore from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Both parents went to the University of Minnesota, and Kelly's older sister, Jen Bowman, is a senior on the Minnesota bench. Hasn't played a whole lot. She transferred here from Longwood State to play with her sister. Things going well for Minnesota. The wheels are falling off for the Buckeyes.
And they are just feeling it, hitting on all cylinders. Everybody's starting to get involved now for Minnesota. 4 players, double-digit kills. Now people starting to block, and oh yeah, it's contagious, Meredith.
The Golden Gophers lead by 7. This is the biggest lead of the match for Minnesota.
Drive, throw stuff, switch. For a limited time, get Mario Kart Double Dash free when you buy a Nintendo GameCube for $99.99. Rated everyone.
I'm never really away from the game. If I'm not playing it, I'm practicing it. If I'm not practicing it, I'm thinking it. And if I'm not thinking it, I must be sleeping. And then I'm dreaming it. Sacrifice is what got me to this level. But there are some things you just can't sacrifice. Never compromise. Tachikara Volleyball.
believe I actually saw a Fighting Irish game in South Bend. Amazing. The energy, the tradition, you can see why it's such a football shrine. Wish you were here.
Greg Amsinger back here in the field house. We'll get you back out to Minneapolis for the conclusion of Ohio State and Minnesota in a moment. But first, the first serve. We're set. Washington versus UCLA in Seattle. Enjoy.
Underway, and right away, Washington goes to Sonia Tomasovic.
So Morrison passed the perfect ball, and now Bree Haggerty's going to come in for her through the front row.
Yep. If you did not watch last night's semifinal, Morrison has a torn meniscus. Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. UCLA's first attack.
Again, we will join everyone in Seattle, UCLA against Washington at the conclusion of the action in Minneapolis, Ohio State, and Minnesota. But now let's check back in with Carter and Heather.
Missed the line. Service error for Minnesota.
In this game, Ohio State offensively has been quiet, hitting just 111 as a team as compared to Game 3, hit 422 to win that game.
When we're done here in Minneapolis, we'll send you to Seattle for UCLA and Washington in the fourth of the 4 NCAA regionals covered today on CSTV. Stanford and USC are in to the NCAA semifinals in Long Beach. Who will join them? Stacey Gordon is certainly doing her part. 34 kills in the match for the Ohio State senior.
Not only does Stacey lead this team offensively, but leads with 36 aces on the season because it's just like a spike, but from the end line. The motion, if you're a good jump server, is exactly like it is when you're attacking at the net. You want to open your shoulders, get the ball out in front of you, and get great topspin on it.
No coincidence that when Gordon goes back to serve, Ohio State's offense finds its rhythm.
Well, it's so much easier to block when you've got a great jump server because the offense of your opponent becomes very predictable. When you get a bad pass, you know the ball's going to the outside.
Guys on the comeback and still the net violation. Amy Stevens into the net.
And that's just a tough freshman mistake. It was over-eager, a little bit over-aggressive, didn't wait for the ball to come to her side.
If Ohio State can win Game 4, they're down by 6 now. If the Buckeyes can win, they're in. With the big swing, dug out by Castine. Back across to Amy Stevens, just long. It was
She's
not
celebrating. She doesn't know. And I think you either call a timeout or get some sort of substitution for a momentum change if you're Jim Stone. A couple back-to-back errors by the freshman, and you need to switch things up.
Instead, they keep playing. Go to Danielle Meyer, another of the outstanding Buckeye freshmen. Jordan out of the back row, slams it, but Jinshu keeps it alive. Jones runs it down. Jinshu has to volley it across. Gordon across to Stevens, and another net violation. Here's the update from the Seattle Regional, with Washington off to a slim lead against UCLA.
Washington definitely trying to use home court advantage up there in Seattle.
Remember that regional final is coming up next on CSTV. As soon as we're done in Minneapolis, we'll send you to Seattle for Washington and UCLA. Minnesota trying to force Game 5 on their home floor at the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis. Golden Gophers up 5 in Game 4.
CSTV, no lockouts, just hockey.
CSTV has got a month of college. college sporting ways. From NCAA football to hoops and rugby day. We've got the bowls, the wrestling, the martial arts displays. Oh, tidings of splash, shots and joy. Oh, tidings of splash, shots and joy.
Celebrate the season with the One College Sports Show and TGI Hockey. Happy holidays from CSTV.
Paula Jinshu in Minnesota up 5 in Game 4. Mike Heber knows exactly how key she is.
Quite simply, 31 digs tonight. Had 41 last night in the 5-game win, and she's still got energy. She's like the little Energizer bunny out there. I think she could play a 10-gamer and still be going at it.
We saw her mother, Magali, earlier up from Brazil. Mike Heber told me today that Mrs. Jinshu said that when Paula was about 4 years old, she had so much energy around the house, they had to get her involved in sports because she was driving them nuts. So she started playing soccer, and then later a little bit volleyball mixed in, and she still has a lot of energy.
And now hoping to lead her team to history, Martin continues to find success down the line. Ohio State's block needs to adjust, get closer to that intent.
That dig from Pinata, but the overpass sets it up for Maya Mack. Tejas right into the net.
One of the first errors we've seen from that right side position. They've typically been so steady, so consistent out there. Don't forget, Lindsay Tejas, the senior, had never been a hitter until this season. Had always been the setter in a 5-1 offense, meaning she sets the entire rotation all the way around.
Martin with a big swing into the back row, where Gordon digs it out. Across to Stevens. Bowman comes sliding in to keep it alive. Martin down the line again. This one's wide. Let's see what's going on in the Seattle Regional Final again. 10-10 between UCLA and Washington.
No surprise. We've had great volleyball all day long. I wouldn't expect it to end in the Seattle Regional. Expect a 4 or 5 gamer out there, guys.
2 Pac-10 teams are headed to the NCAA semifinals, and one way or another, 3 of the 4 semifinalists are going to be from the Pac-10 and 1 from the Big Ten.
And Minnesota continuing to show its offensive versatility. Tejas making up for her error, finding the donut, that open spot in the middle of the court.
Gordon delivers the 6-pack to Paula Jinshu. 35 kills in the match for Stacey Gordon. The NCAA match record is 47 in NCAA tournament play.
And I think even more importantly, she's taken over 70 swings in this match. If this goes 5, she's going to have a very sore shoulder. Had about 75 swings last night in the 5-game win.
She's going to be like a starting pitcher, icing up that right shoulder after they're done.
Absolutely, and just pepper Jinshu. I love the matchup between the two. I mean, Stacey wants to hit it away from Jinshu, but Paula's everywhere back there. It's hard to do that.
Ohio State gets up for the block. Britton Riker pulls the Buckeyes within 3. Paula Jinshu in Minnesota trying to get that momentum back. The pancake setting up the dink. Tejas. And Martin sends it just wide. She knew she missed it. Just missed it.
Boy, back-to-back hitting errors for Martin, and yes, she's frustrated.
Buckeyes within 2. Ohio State with a win in Game 4 advances to the NCAA semis. You think Stacey Gordon wants to go to Long Beach?
I love the look in her eyes. She is just heated up right now. Look at the intensity, the focus as she rotates into the front row. She knows what she has to do. She knows she's carrying the burden for this Ohio State program. It's been since 1994. They're due.
Stacey Gordon has 37 kills in the match. Ohio State 8 points away from a trip to Long Beach.
And there's a look at Stacey's parents, Stan and Lorraine Gordon, in for the match. And I want to know where she got that shoulder from. Mom or dad, who gave her that hitting arm and who taught her how to play volleyball?
Well, they're both great athletes. Her dad played hockey. Her mom ran cross country. She had a brother who played hockey for the Canadian national team.
And they taught her how to play, what, ringlet?
Ringette.
Just can't get a grasp of that game you're trying to teach me.
Well, just about everything going on here around Minnesota. We're in the sports pavilion, and literally next door is part of the same building at Williams Arena is where the Golden Gopher basketball team plays. This is just earlier today with Minnesota taking on Central Michigan. They got a tough battle from the Chippewas, but in the second half, Minnesota pulls away with some fast break buckets. And the Golden Gopher men's basketball team wins 77-63 over Central Michigan today. Literally, as the teams were practicing here at the sports pavilion, you could hear the crowd roaring at Williams Arena just across the wall.
And this is a great sports town. I mean, they love their Gophers. They love their Vikings. Some of them even love the Packers. Bitter rivalry here. It's funny, in the hotel they're selling both Packers and Vikings t-shirts.
They had 14,000 for a box lacrosse game last night here in Minnesota. The hockey fans want to have something to do in the winter. So it's on to box lacrosse with the NHL lockout. Over 5,000 fans here at the Sports Pavilion tonight to see Minnesota and Ohio State do battle. They would be disappointed with a Buckeye win. But now Ohio State is just 7 points away from claiming this regional final.
Thanks in large part to Stacey Gordon. Just amazing. Hitting .389, now 38 kills. The scary part is, that's just another day's work for Stacey. These are typical day in, day out numbers for Stacey Gordon. This is what she does all season long.
Think she's swaying anybody to vote for National Player of the Year?
Absolutely.
39 kills. Making it 12-pack for Paula Jinchu.
Back-to-back. 6-packs for Jinchu. Not the type you want, though.
15-13 Washington in Seattle. That regional final is up next on CSTV. Gordon wants it back. She in the zone or what?
Man, she's good.
40 kills for Stacey Gordon. And Ohio State is 5 points away from a trip to Long Beach.
Carter, I'm going to sound like a fool. I can't remember the last time watching somebody perform gave me chills. The way she comes through in crunch time at 25 to 30 points, she does everything to perfection for this team.
Ohio State is a team that went 11-17 last season. Stacey Gordon called it one of the worst experiences of her life. She was not used to losing. You see that competitive fire. She doesn't want to lose tonight.
She is just so focused. She knows that every ball that Maine can get to her is coming her way.
Gordon with the set. She wants it back. Minnesota there for the block. Now Gordon's going to have to just volley it back across, and that's an error. She sent it just a little bit too long.
Now Lorraine and Stan not happy with that play. Free ball's tough when you're back to the court. You got to keep aware of where you are.
Down the line, just out though. Danielle Meyer. Yep. Danielle Meyer thought it was touch.
See that, Danielle Meyer, the freshman, says, nice set. Great call.
Whistle. It's a net violation. So it's point Minnesota.
Once again, Gordon rotates into the back row. See what kind of impact she can make, not just jump serving, but also from the back row attack.
If Ohio State wins the game, they win the match. They win the regional final. That's it. Minnesota is now a point away from forcing game 5.
Great balance, this time redirecting the ball. Pages to Bowman, catching Ohio State off guard.
Oh, the service error at game point from Kelly Bowman.
New life for the Gordon family and the entire Buckeye clan.
Steamer here at the Sports Pavilion. The Golden Gophers just wouldn't give in to Stacey Gordon.
The difference from Minnesota, offensive versatility. They've had 4 offensive weapons throughout this match. Their right side continues to impress. Lindsay Tejas getting it done with a veteran savvy.
Golden Gophers have one more game in them. The decisive Game 5 next.
Two words for you. Pop quiz. Ready? Name any funny movie. A drama. Name a mystery. And one more thing. Name the movie your kids saw today in science class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
You're driving along. A car pulls in front of you. Another pulls alongside. When the guy up front stops short, you rear-end him, just like he wanted. It's called a swoop and squat. And fraud like this can add hundreds of dollars a year to your insurance bills. It's why Allstate has a dedicated fraud team to track down criminals. Fighting fraud helps keep your insurance affordable. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
Drive, throw stuff, switch. For a limited time, get Mario Kart Double Dash free when you buy a Nintendo GameCube for $99.99. Rated everyone.
I can't believe I actually saw a Fighting Irish game in South Bend. Amazing. The energy, the tradition, you can see why it's such a football shrine. Wish you were here.
Greg Amsinger in New York City will get you back out to Game 5 of Ohio State and Minnesota. But first, let's give you a taste of what's going on in Seattle. The 7th seed Washington taking on UCLA. Let's check in on that match.
Game 1, just pressing up, getting over, taking away the seams, and coming down with attitude. Gotta love the young sophomores showing so much energy for the Bruins.
Leck couldn't finish. McFarland from the back row. Leck again. And it's long, and UCLA, who upset number 2 Penn State yesterday, has a 4-point lead in Game 1.
And that was, again, the intimidation factor of the UCLA block, just getting into the head of Caitlin Leck. She's going up now. Instead of thinking about putting that ball down, she's worrying about getting stuffed, and that's where the unforced errors come.
Ace. How about that? Becky Green. I would venture to say UCLA has more blocks in this first game than St. Mary's did in all 3 against Washington last night. Andy Banikowski showing some emotion last night when his team finished off Penn State.
There you see the ace right there. UCLA, you know, you talk about Andy Banikowski, all its experience, 38 years. You look at the record of UCLA.
UCLA looking good in Seattle. We will take you to Seattle for the in-progress coverage of that game once we're done in Minneapolis. But for now, we've got Ohio State and Minnesota. Carter and Heather, back to you.
In the middle back position right now, but I think it's a decoy. We'll see when she moves out of serve receive. She's probably a front row player standing in the back row.
Instead, to the outside, Mack gets the first set of Game 5. Martin battling hard. She's stuck with it.
And amazingly, Stacey Gordon is actually in the middle back position, starting as a back row player.
Why do you think that is?
Ooh, there's a football, too. I think Jim Stone played with the rotation, spun the dial, and won. He doesn't want Stacey Gordon matched up with Jen Shu in the back court.
The net play in Game 5 has gone to Minnesota. Miller gives the Golden Gophers a 2-0 start.
Jones has come in and made an impact every time she's come in as a sub.
Gordon can't put it down. Martin sends it across. Jin Chu barely keeps it alive. She was surprised to see it float to her. Mack tips it at the net. The dunk. Minnesota leads 3-0 in Game 5.
Great defense converting into offense from Minnesota. Here's the dig on the redirection, keeping the ball alive. And then finally the put away. Tejas and Bowman so impressed with their play on the right side.
Mike Hebert and Minnesota trying to make it back to the NCAA semis for the second straight year.
Drive, throw stuff, switch. For a limited time, get Mario Kart Double Dash free when you buy a Nintendo GameCube for $99.99. Rated everyone.
Special delivery, ladies.
Well, look who's here.
Got your fresh beer right here.
What do you got?
I got intentional taste mask. All American brewed beers are fresh. This guy's hiding something.
Illegal use of the hand truck, distributing beer with less taste.
Place it with Miller Lite.
More taste.
Half the carbs.
You can't flag the king.
Right.
Okay, we got multiple penalties on Dan. Intentional
Miller.
face mask.
Good call.
Illegal use of the hand truck.
Introducing the One College Sports Show to watch if you're only watching one. A fast-moving power hour packed with all things college. The One College Sports Show, this season on College Sports TV. Find out more at collegesports.com.
Minnesota off to a red-hot start in Game 5. Remember, we're only playing to 15 in Game 5, so Minnesota has a big step forward.
And literally, because Marcy Pinata is foot faulting on her jump serves. Her first one was a definite foot fault. The last two have been close. At any time, if your toe hits the line, it is an immediate point for your opponent.
And yet the officials have yet to call it on Pinata, and she will no longer be serving now as the point goes to the Buckeyes. And Rebecca Castine gets a chance to serve. Bowman sets it across for Aaron Martin, dug out by Ohio State. Castine with her fanny on the floor, sends it across to Gordon to keep the point alive. And yet Minnesota ends up winning it.
And that just hurts because an incredible save by Gordon just goes all out. This is improbable to get this up and to get it over. Sure enough, she does just in time to get it hit right back at her.
Jin Chu with a great serve. Gordon trying to answer, Bowman there to dig it out. Martin right into the block, and yet it's out of bounds. That's point Minnesota. The Golden Gophers off to a 5-1 start in the decisive Game 5.
Just feeding off of this home court.
Service there, and Jin Chu goes down hard. That's nothing new, though. She's a gamer.
Ohio State needs a string of points in a hurry. Rally scoring about a 6 or 7 point deficit to 15 is nearly insurmountable.
Making a 4-point deficit right now. Minnesota 6, Ohio State 2.
Nice quick offense, balance. I can't say it enough how important it is because it's neutralizing Ohio State's block. You see the huge gap now, 5 players in double digits for the Gophers.
That was touched, and it's yet another kill for Stacey Gordon. 42nd of the night.
Just continues to go and give everything she can, willing this team to a victory.
Bowman answers back, cross court. That is a new career high for Stacey Gordon. 42 kills in the match. Stacey does not want to make this her last match.
Combine that with 35 last night in the 5-game win over Tennessee, and those are regional MVP type numbers, but it doesn't mean anything if you go out with a loss.
Mike Hebert said she just keeps getting better as the match goes on, and you're seeing why. You talk about athleticism, technique, but she has the competitive spirit that makes for great players.
And Hebert's got tough decisions to make because he knows she's a rhythm player which thrives on touching the ball a lot. The other thing he knows is she's got to be exhausted, so he plays cat and mouse with her, denying her the ball and then flooding her with it to see which way works.
Golden Gophers 7 points away from ending Stacey Gordon's season with the win here in the regional finals. Teams switch sides with the 8-point in Game 5. Remember, we're only playing to 15. You have to win by 2.
It can be done if you're Ohio State, but it's going to demand perfection. Perfect ball control, quick side outs, meaning you can't allow Minnesota to score more than 1 point in a row at a time.
Ohio State takes a timeout, trailing 8-4 in Game 5. Let's check in with what's going on in Seattle. This regional is up next on CSTV. A good start in Game 1. Washington up 23-22 on UCLA. You surprised to see the Bruins in the regional final?
Actually, no. Andy Banikowski has a knack for getting his team to play its best volleyball come tournament time, and it says a lot for how good this UCLA team is that they beat Penn State and Russ Rose's squad. That was considered an upset by seeding standards.
So here is the way the regionals look on the day. Stanford and USC advancing, Minnesota and Ohio State dueling it out here in Minneapolis. Washington and UCLA are up next.
USC, of course, plays the winner of this one. I don't think they're thinking about that right now. SC is, but these two are just trying to get to 15. They don't care who they play. Minnesota giving Ohio State a little bit of a breather with another service error that continues to be a story throughout this match. You have to play perfect volleyball in a game to 15. In fact, you let up a little bit from the service line just to keep the ball in.
Jinshu can't quite get to it. Ohio State with 2 straight points to make Game 5 interesting.
And a huge save by Stacey Gordon to keep the Buckeyes alive. Great dig. That time Brittany Doms, the defensive specialist, keeping it up.
Coleman into the back row. Doms couldn't get to it. 11 kills in the match for the setter, Kelly Bowman, in the 6-2 offense. And here she is back to serve with Minnesota 6 points away from a trip to Long Beach. Bradford through the block. Stevens digs it out. Out of the back row, Gordon off balance. Jinshu there to dig it out. Tipped at the net though.
Now the up official just said that Ohio State was into the net. The down official shook her off and said no. Jim Stone saw that and is asking Joan now to listen to her down official. The down official can make that call and let the up official know, but the up official has ultimate say. He changed his mind, and Jim Stone knows it.
Now, Michael Blaylock is now getting an earful from Jim Stone. Gordon doing her best to keep Ohio State season alive, and yet on the miss hit, Minnesota 4 points away from claiming the Minneapolis Regional. Up next, you'll see Washington and UCLA, another great match here on Championship Saturday on CSTV NCAA Volleyball. That match is next. Jinshu digs it out for USC. Across to Bradford.
Ohio State can't side out quick enough to rotate Stacey Gordon into the front row. Huge risk by Jim Stone not starting her in the front row. Ohio State got in an early deficit and hasn't been able to recover.
Bowman with Minnesota 3 points away. The Golden Gophers were down 2 games to 1. They won Game 4 and now 3 points away from Game 5. Making 2 points away. Amanda Miller.
And right now, Minnesota playing with all the confidence in the world. They continue to attack Stacey Gordon. The last 3 serves have gone to Ohio State star.
It's a 6-0 run for Minnesota. Ended by Stacey Gordon and her 44th kill of the match.
Gordon's definitely able to quiet this sports pavilion crowd.
Ohio State desperately trying to get momentum with Maine at the service line. Dug out by Castine. Gordon to Jinshu again. It's been all night. Stevens trying to go cross court. Jinshu there to dig it out. Bradford. It was touched.
By who? There was no back row touch. Watch to see if there's one on the block. Unless it went right through her hands and got the hand, but there was no back row touch.
point for Minnesota. Maya Mack keeps the season alive for Ohio State.
Big confident swing. Now all the pressure in the world on the true freshman, Amy Stevens. A miss, and they go home.
For the second straight season, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are going to the NCAA semifinals. A 5-game win over Ohio State.
Difference. Ohio State had one of the best players in the nation in Stacey Gordon, but Minnesota had 6 players come to play tonight, 6 players in double-digit kills, and they are just thriving on the confidence that playing at host gives them.
Minnesota was down 2-1 to Ohio State, and yet Aaron Martin and the Golden Gophers fight back to win games 4 and 5 and advance to Long Beach. This is a program that had ever been to the NCAA semifinals, now 2 straight years for the Golden Gophers. Congratulations to Minnesota as the Golden Gophers advance to the NCAA semifinals next weekend in Long Beach. For coordinating producer Bill Stone, producer Matt Lipp, director Mitch Riggin, and our entire CSTV crew, and Heather Cox, I'm Carter Blackburn. For more, log on to collegesports.com. This has been a presentation of CSTV College Sports Television, #1 in college sports.
Greg Amsinger back here in the field house in New York alongside UC Santa Barbara.